Hey, hold on a minute. There's something... Nah, I guess there's a couple of things I want to double check. Well, one of them's not really significant, I guess.
Huh?
First off, this machine. We didn't even end up using this thing, did we?
Yeah.
I was just wondering what it was.
Well, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer that. Look at the sign here. There's a name or something. IG Replicator?
Replicate?
So it's a copy machine.
Yeah. Probably copies IG. Whatever that is.
Any ideas?
Who knows? Ice cream by the gallon?
Of course. This machine must be here so we can just make all the ice cream we want. Are you nuts? You're one idiotic girl, you know that? In other words, an IG.
Oh, good one.
Hey, this isn't the time for stupid jokes. There's a helpless child back there in the infirmary who needs our help.
He was right, of course. I hung my head in shame.
At any rate, as long as we don't know what IG means, we can't do anything with this machine, right?
That's right.
Makes sense. On to the second issue. Sigma, you found a journal and some sort of vial in the safe.
Yeah?
The vial. Could you show it to me again? I didn't really get a good look at it before. You guys were in there so close I could barely see it. Was it really Excelavir?
Yeah, definitely. As I spoke, I pulled the vial in my pocket. See? Right on the label. Excelavir.
You really are an idiot.
Huh?
Although I guess in this case the G in IG stands for guy.
What? I don't... The words were barely out of my mouth when he moved. Before I could blink, the vial disappeared from my hand. Wait, what gives?
What are you doing?
Dio slipped the vial quickly into his coat.
Oh, don't worry. I'll keep it safe. I'll even give it back to you later.
No, not later. Give it back now.
I don't think so. If you want it back, you're gonna have to listen to my request.
Request?
Yeah, that's what I said. If you want this back, in the next AB game, you have to choose ally.
Ally. Wait, is that why you took the medicine to blackmail me?
That's horrible! You're using Quark's life as leverage!
Well, I've got some really good reasons to do so. I'll be happy to give it back if you just do what I say.
I didn't realize until they started to hurt that I'd curled my hands into fists. Dio would give me an opening.
I wouldn't try and take it back by force if I were you. You make any sudden moves and I'll smash it.
Patted his pocket gently.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelavir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
Damn it.
That's not fair!
This game isn't about compassion. It's not about being clever. It's about one thing. How well you can manipulate people to your advantage. How unfair you can be. So, what are you gonna do? Ready to promise me you'll pick ally?
Fine. I promise.
Sigma!
Ah, I knew you'd say it eventually. I'm glad you understand how this works. But don't think about trying anything funny. Break your promise and... well, you know what happens. See you chumps later. I'm really looking forward to the next round.
With one last self-satisfied chuckle, Dio strutted out of the room.
Are you really going to do what he says?
Yeah?
Sigma, you've only got one BP right now. If we choose ally and he chooses betray...
I know. I'll drop to 1. Means I'll get penalized.
But that means...
Look, it's like I want to, alright? If we don't do as he says, then he'll destroy the medicine. If he does that, then Quark'll...
So you're going to die to save his life? That's... Why would you do that?
In all honesty, I was terrified. My choice was far from a foregone conclusion. Well, we should get back to the upper floor. Everybody else is probably finished already. I bet they're waiting for us. I didn't want to wait for Clover's response.
An ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until ambidex game polling closes.
Sorry, I went ahead and cracked it open a bit early.
Dio. In one of his hands was a moon key, twirled it around like a veteran gambler, grinned and slid it back in his pocket.
You don't mind, right? I figured you and Clover would get up here right away. Besides, I thought it'd be best to get this done soon before you lose your nerve. I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the next round.
Glanced around the warehouse. Alice and Kay were back. This was Phi. And of course, Clover. Where's Tenmyoji and the rest?
They're in the infirmary.
We carried Quark to one of the beds. Tenmyoji and Luna are looking after him.
I see.
How's he doing?
Well, it's hard to say. He seems to be sleeping soundly, but beyond that, there's really no way to know.
No change then, huh?
Right.
So what was your room, Sigma?
A laboratory?
Is that so?
Did it look like the kind of place where they'd be researching viruses and DNA and those kinds of things?
Yeah, it did.
Was there any of that Excelivir?
Don't tell those other idiots that you found some Excelivir in here. I hear one word about it, and the next thing you hear will be little bits of glass shattering on the floor.
No, nothing. Besides me, Clover bit her lip.
I see.
How'd it go with you? Find anything? Phi shook her head. With a unison of movement that almost looked choreographed, Alice and Kay shrugged.
Where does that leave us? We still got about 40 minutes left until voting ends.
What are you gonna do?
I'm a little curious about that lab you found. I thought I might go take a peek at it.
I'll show you the way then.
That would be wonderful.
I think I'll go have a look at the room Alice, Kay, and Tenmyoji found. Never know. Maybe you missed something. Perhaps there's some Excelivir hidden somewhere in there.
What a bastard.
Then I shall take you there.
What about you two? Where are you going?
I think I'll start heading over to the infirmary to see how Quark's doing.
Then I will too.
Glad that's settled.
She nodded to Clover and they disappeared through the magenta door. Dio and Kay followed a few footsteps behind. Okay then. Guess we should be going too.
Hold on. Show me that journal first. Dio told me about it. He wouldn't tell me anything about the lab, except that you found a journal with, his words, some sort of bullshit language. He said you had it, so I was hoping I could take a look.
Yeah. One sec. I dug the journal in my pocket, handed it to Phi. She began to flip through the pages, her eyes quickly scanning each one.
This is Latin.
Latin? You mean you can read it?
Yeah, with time and a dictionary.
So in other words, no.
Pardon me for not being able to translate a dead language on the fly. This looks like some kind of research log. It's not gonna be some sort of, I took the dog for a walk today. It was nice kind of stuff. I can understand a little of it, mostly conjunctions and things like that. But most of these words I've never even seen before.
If I started to leaf through the pages of the book as she spoke, then suddenly stopped.
Wait, I can read this one. Page 216. This isn't research notes. It looks like a personal entry.
What's it say?
Don't rush me. This is gonna take a minute. Interesting. All right, I think I got it. It looks like they're talking about Radical 6.
What? Why are they talking about that?
Not sure. Let me read it to you.
Alright. When the body is infected with Radical 6, the processing speed of the brain is reduced. If we assume the brain currently operates on a 1/1 basis with regards to time, Radical 6 reduces it to 1 by root of 1/6, approximately 1 to 0.408. This means that for each second that passes outside, the patient feels only 0.408 seconds have passed inside. Therefore, when 1 second has passed inside, approximately 2.45 seconds, or root of 6 seconds, have passed outside. In other words, when 10 seconds pass in the real world, a patient infected with Radical 6 would only feel as if 4 have. This is why the virus is deemed Radical 6. Radical is another term for what is known as the root operation, the function inverse to taking of power. In a less mathematical sense, it also can be used to refer to something that is extreme or severe. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide. The exact cause of this is unclear, and although there is as of yet no direct link between suicidal urges and the reduction in mental processing speed, many believe that they are not unrelated. Those infected with Radical 6 perceive the world to be moving at a fever pitch, as if a videocassette being fast-forwarded. For instance, although the patient believes that only 10 seconds have passed, in fact, 24.5 seconds have passed. Given this incredible speed of input, maintaining the ability to observe and reason would become a Herculean task. One theory holds that the disparity in time perception causes the brain to be flooded with massive amounts of information. Unable to keep up with it, it fails. Whatever the cause, the infection invariably attempts to take their own lives, which is arguably the most terrifying aspect of the virus. Research suggests that a targeted antiviral could kill or at least disable Radical 6, but we have yet to been unable to develop one. It seems our best hope now is to harvest antibodies from someone with a natural immunity to the virus. And thus, however, we have been unable to locate a suitable subject, so I have continued my efforts to discover an alternative means of treatment. Given my current rate of progress, I predict that I will have a workable treatment within a decade or two. It is my fervent hope that humanity will be able to survive that long. The bodies of those dead from suicide are piled up along the roads leading in and out of town. The entire area reeks with the stench of decay, and the sky is filled with the constant buzzing of flies. At times, their swarms are so thick that when one passes, it feels like as if a cloud had gone over the sun. Every day, I see more crows and rats are everywhere, feeding on the dead. Ironically, the only healthy-looking creatures are the stray cats who have grown fat on plentiful rodent diet. The few humans who have survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters. I don't know how many were saved, but I only fear a handful. Their survival is the only hope that remains for the human race. Oh Lord, please let their future be a bright one. That's a lot of information. Now we know what the virus does to you, though. If you get infected, your brain slows down to, what is it, 1/6? That's like 40%?
That isn't the important part. Those infected by Radical 6 eventually develop a powerful urge to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're right. That would explain why Quark was trying to kill himself.
There are two other things in here that worry me. First, the part about how they haven't managed to develop a treatment for it yet. What do you make of that?
What am I supposed to make of it? Maybe they just haven't found one when the journal was written? I mean, from what we know, there's a drug called Excelsior that cures it.
Exactly. But in the journal it says it might take 20 years to make something like that.
Hold on a sec. I'm getting confused. When was this thing written?
December 29th. No year.
Well, there's no way it was written this year.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, moving on. The second concern I have is about the underground shelters it mentions. The newspaper article said something about quarantining people, too. After we read it, we all thought the same thing. What if this was one of those quarantine facilities? But this journal seems to suggest the opposite. The few humans who survived the outbreak have been locked away by the government in underground shelters.
You're trying to say that this place might have been one of those shelters? Which would mean we're all supposed to be uninfected. We would have been thrown in here to keep us safe.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to say for sure at this point, but it seems possible.
But Quark's been infected, right?
And maybe the virus got in somehow.
That would be bad.
Just think about it for a minute. If this is one of those shelters, a lot of things start to make sense. Maybe we've been here for a long time. Like, maybe they put us to sleep somehow. Made us sleep for years, maybe even decades. While we were sleeping, the pandemic that the newspaper article talked about happened. And whoever had this journal made this entry.
And then once the antiviral treatment was finished, they woke us up?
Right. It's all just speculation, but...
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like a pretty plausible scenario, but we were all captured before the pandemic started, right?
yeah.
And how would they have put us to sleep for that long? How would they have known to do that? Most importantly, why the hell are we playing the Nonary game if the point of this place is to save us? Throwing a bunch of people into a game that might kill them is a pretty weird way to protect them from the pandemic.
Yeah, you're right.
See?
We don't have enough information to make any real... I think we should see if we can find anything else.
If I had barely finished speaking before she took off. Hey, weren't you going to the infirmary?
Changed my mind. You can tell me about Quark later.
And with that, she was gone. She was gone. Man, I let out a long, tired sigh and started off toward the infirmary. Let me guess, Dio's there just like, oh, look at little Quark. How's he doing?
He seems to be stable, as far as I can tell.
Still sleeping.
I see. Mind if I look?
Please, go ahead.
I made my way around the partition to the side of Quark's bed. The journal and the thing fine I had talked about would definitely need to be addressed, but for the moment the AP game was what I needed to concentrate on. Lives were at stake, mine and Quark's. That was it. If the journal was telling the truth, then as soon as the anesthetic wore off, Quark would go insane again. What if I weren't able to restrain him a second time? What if he managed to kill himself before he got to him? Perhaps he'd just get out of the infirmary and go hide somewhere? On the other hand, it wouldn't be like we could keep anestheticizing him forever. There was only one way to save Quark, and that was Excelsior. Unfortunately, Dio stole it. If we wanted to get it back, Clover and I would be vote ally, but if I did, there's an excellent chance I would end up dead. The question was, what do I do? Sacrifice myself to save Quark, or keep quiet about the danger he was in to save myself? It was so faint I almost didn't hear it.
Grandpa. Grandpa.
He shifted a little, then fell silent. It was enough, though. What on earth had I been thinking? How could I have considered letting a child die in my place? So my cheeks felt hot with embarrassment and disgust. That I considered letting Quark die even for a minute was pathetic. There was only one choice. There had only ever been one choice. No way was I going to leave Quark to die. My hands tightened into fists as I looked down at him. Any uncertainty I'd felt before was gone. I knew what I had to do.
10 minutes remain until Ambidex game polling closes. All players, please enter your votes. If no vote is recorded before the deadline has passed.
Looks like it's almost time. You two should head back.
What about you?
Not going. I'm worried about Quark.
But you're a solo. If you don't vote...
I'll automatically ally. I know. I heard the voice on the intercom just like you.
What are you gonna do if Kay and Alice vote betray?
Nothing, I suppose. Just means I lost that round. I'd just be voting ally anyway. You know who my opponents are, right? Alice only has one BP left. If I pick betray and they chose ally, I'd kill her. I'm not so desperate to escape that I'm gonna kill someone for it. And even if I was, I can't leave Quark behind. You see? Doesn't matter if I go into the AB room or not. My vote's the same either way.
Timioji's mind was made up. Trying to persuade him to leave would have been pointless. Alright. Take care of Quark.
Of course. You worry about yourself.
Let's
Okay.
go. Luna and I headed out of the infirmary, leaving Tenmyoji and Quark behind. When we got to the warehouse, we found everyone waiting for us. Well, not everyone. One person was missing. Hey, where's Dio?
Take a look at the doors.
They're all closed. When we came here before, the one on the far right was open.
And that would mean...
He went in, I guess.
Exactly.
That bastard. He'd probably been worried I might try to take the Excelsior from him by force, so he hid himself in the room. What a coward. Made up my mind to choose Ally no matter what, but part of me still considered trying to jump Dio if he dropped his guard. Now he'd make sure I wouldn't get the chance.
Where's Tenmyoji?
Oh,
Luna explained Timioji's choice.
I see. Well, I guess that means I don't have to worry about him picking Betray.
right. What will you guys be choosing then?
Ally, of course.
Because my BP is 6, I assume.
Yes. As long as Tenmyoji votes Ally, I can't choose Betray. If I do, K's BP will go up to 9.
Well, let's see. You are a scantily clad thin woman. He is a robot. I already know what's gonna happen.
But what if he forces you?
Yeah, that doesn't help. That does not fucking help.
You needn't worry. I would never do something so crass.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all I'm gonna do is just punch her in the gut, get her on the floor. You know, that's all I need to do. I'm not gonna do anything drastic or anything.
Of course.
Then you don't need to go in there.
Excuse me?
Alice can vote by herself. Then we don't have anything to worry about, right?
Well,
Okay.
I apologize, but I'm afraid
Why not?
I just can't. Shall we go, Alice?
Hey, hold on a minute there.
Kay continued briskly toward the AB room as if he simply hadn't heard Phi. Alice scrambled to follow him, perhaps concerned that he would lock her out. Only seconds later, they disappeared into the third from the left.
I hope Alice is going to be okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do now. If Kay told the truth, she'll be fine.
5 minutes.
Yep.
Time's
let's go.
almost up. Come on, Luna.
Right.
They headed off on a trot toward the second room. All right, Clover, time for us to go.
Oh, okay. Right behind you.
I sighed to myself and headed toward the leftmost AB room.
What are you gonna do?
I don't really have a choice, do I? There's only one thing I can do. I'm gonna choose Ally.
You can't! You'll die!
Well, you never know. Just because Dia told us he wanted us to pick Ally doesn't mean he'll pick
Do
Betray.
you really think a jerk like that is going to choose Ally if he doesn't have to? No. No way. He's got 6 BP right now. If he picks Betray, then he'll have 9 points.
Well, what about you?
Huh?
You've got 6 too, right? If Dio chose Ally and we chose Betray, then you have 9.
What? No, that's not... I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. I'm just trying to tell you that Dio is going to pick Betray. That's who he is.
And I'm trying to tell you I've made up my mind. That's who I am. Only one choice is Ally. It's the only chance we have to get that medicine.
That's why Dio called you an IG. What makes you think he's going to give us the Excelsior, even if you do what he says?
Maybe he won't. I can guarantee that he'll destroy it if I pick Betray. That's who he is.
Fine. If you aren't gonna listen to me, then I guess I don't have a choice. I'll be pushing that button.
What are you gonna do? Before I realized, Clover ducked past me, ran towards the machine. Nope, stop. Snatched her by the arm, hauled her back.
Ow!
Sorry. Guess that was a little too hard, huh?
Hey! What do you think you're doing? You can't just throw a girl around like that.
Well, you're the one who tried to trick me.
But you're gonna die! Dio's going to kill you! You can't do this! I don't want you to die.
10 seconds remain until Ambidex game polling closes.
Thanks. Means a lot to hear you say that, Clover. Gave her my best reassuring nod and turned to face the machine.
3, 2, 1. Round 2 of the Ambidex game has been completed. Results will be displayed in the warehouse. Thank you for your participation. Ambidex gates now opening.
Clover and I stepped out. For several long moments, we just stared at one another. Words weren't necessary. Everything she would have tried to tell me I had already seen in her eyes. Let's go. Turned and head towards the screen.
Sigma.
I heard her behind me, her voice barely louder than a whisper. The choice was made already. Stood up straight, kept walking.
Results from round 2 of the Ambidex game will now be displayed. Please check your bracelet to see your updated bracelet points.
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Negative.
Suddenly all eyes were on me. I felt their weight but stood my ground. It was the result I had expected. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. I didn't have to wait long. There was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. Couldn't feel anything flowing into my veins, but I knew it was there. This would be the anesthetic Soparil. I blinked and my vision started to blur. When I tried to think, it felt like my mind had been stuffed with cotton. My legs began to wobble, then gave out entirely as I...
Sigma! Sigma! Hang on! Hey! Sigma! Get up!
Sigma!
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Trying to open my eyelids was trying to lift sheets of lead. My eyes had lost the ability to focus, but I could make out a blur that had been Dio in front of the number 9 door. Damn it, you keep your promise, damn it. I groaned and with a Herculean effort lifted my head and then my sluggish body off the floor. Every step was a battle, and whenever I shifted my weight, my muscles threatened to give out. Somehow I forced myself ahead, a single thought burning in my mind. I would reach Dio. Then at last... the smudge of color faded into a recognizable thing. I threw out my hand in front of him. Give it back. Give me the medicine.
Give it back? Don't act like it's yours. Aren't we supposed to share everything we find here?
I don't care, just hand me the medicine.
What are you talking about?
We found the Excelavir in the laboratory.
And Dio stole it.
What?
You mean he has it? Right now?
Yeah. So?
I kept my promise. Now you. I was a fool. I knew the kind of person Dio was. There was a chance he wouldn't give it back. If he didn't, I'd die with my hands around his throat. I gathered as much of my mind as I could, ready to attack.
Fine.
Not quite what I'd been expecting.
Here.
With a shrug, he pulled the vial out of his pocket, tossed it toward me. Caught it and pulled the tiny glass ball to my chest, worried I might drop it. The label was unmistakably Excelivir. It was the real thing. Clover, take it. I held it out toward her.
Right, of course.
She quickly tucked it into her pocket. Good. At least Cork will be alright. With that, the last of my strength left me and I dropped to my knees.
Sigma! Are you okay? Sigma! Sigma!
I guess this is it.
First is the soparil, which puts you to sleep. 9 minutes later, the tubocurarine is injected, numbing your respiratory muscles. I guess you could say it'll really take your breath away.
9 minutes. Once the Sopril was injected, I had 9 minutes until the muscle relaxant followed it. About 4 minutes already passed, which gave me 5, give or take. 5 minutes, I'd be dead. What could I do in 5 minutes? How could I save myself? I gave a raspy, quiet laugh. Even with death staring me in the face, I seemed determined to struggle right up until the very end. Okay, Sigma. You can do this. Clinging desperately to what little consciousness I had left, I racked my brain for any possible solutions. How could I save myself? How? Had to be something. Every problem, no matter how difficult, has a solution. There's always another option. Hopelessness is a state of mind. Just had to think. Think. If there's a way out, I'd find it. Wasn't ready to give up on life yet. There has to be an answer.